Oh, greetings all. My name is Mandivamba Rukuni, and delighted to be a speaker at the Estate Agents Council Land Conference 2025. My topic is land ownership, investment, and sustainability, navigating challenges and opportunities in Zimbabwe. So, let me start by just pointing out the most important evolutionary development that Zimbabwe is facing in terms of the land issue. Zimbabwe is at crossroads. The enclosure movement is here in Zimbabwe and it's moving very fast. The demand for land is surging faster and faster. Don't forget, of everything that the Creator ensured created for us here, the most finite of all is land. The Creator is not creating any more land for us. Make no mistake, the enclosure movement is underway. And if you fail to understand that whatever piece of land you have or are likely to have today will increase in value every second, then you are missing the point. It is now very urgent to have a nationally coordinated action plan to make it possible for all land users to secure their land rights, to attract responsible investment into their land, and to protect livelihoods on that land and to protect every aspect of the environment on that piece of land, underground water, running water, the species of different trees, herbs, grasses, whatever is on that piece of land is the everlasting wealth. So maybe you are asking, what is an enclosure movement? And how do we describe it within the specific context of Zimbabwe? So historically, if you go to the first country in the world to be a fully industrialized country in modern terms is England. And historically, the enclosure movement was described at a time when there was a rapid movement in the economy, when agricultural productivity was increasing rapidly now, making it possible to link rural to urban areas, industries growing, manufacturing plants. So historically, the enclosure movement means that a country has reached a turning point where what is largely held as traditional tenure or traditionally held land, as well as informally held land, now is under pressure. There is pressure to acquire it for private commercial purposes, and that either that happens in a structured way or not. And when the less structured, the more the system doesn't stop. That land will be acquired by the powerful, by those who need it commercially, etc., etc. So anything that is institutionally structured, legally enforceable, is what Zimbabwe now needs, and people need to focus on that, especially the council. So it is important to realize that in the case of Zimbabwe, the pressure on acquiring land from those who hold it now to those who want to use it for other purposes, including speculative purposes, those with the power, those with the resources, those with the commercial interests. But it goes beyond that. Even the traditional authorities now want that land to sell it. There's a huge market for it. Local councils, local authorities want that land. They convert it from traditional or agricultural land into urban land, then the value just jumps. They're making money. This is where basically the land barons come from. Land barons is only not because they are bad people, but it's because they're taking advantage of a situation where government has not yet put in place a structured way of allowing acquisition and change of purpose of land from traditional uses to more commercial uses. This trend is not slowing down, people, because the cost and value of land will never go down again for a long, long time to come. So the challenge and the opportunity are all in one place. The challenge is a speculative land consolidation. The challenge is reduced food security because of the haphazard way in which agricultural land is transferred to commercial and industrial land. Environmental degradation because all forms of development, including extractive land uses, are not being done in a planned and structured way. We suffer an even bigger problem of the lost opportunities for a more well thought out, inclusive, sustainable investment structure, which only comes with the regularization of land rights and that are managed transparently and equitably. So there is a disconnect for most of the landowners from manufacturing and commercialization processes that are happening too far away from where people are producing the raw materials, our grains, our oilseeds, our name it, our herbs, our livestock products, name it. This, for most people, is farming and related activities too far away from manufacturing and commercialization. So, as a result, the opportunity then is that this can be more well thought through and better structured. So recently, the government introduced a new land tenure policy that aims to regularize current land occupiers and bring informal even parcels of land into secure land registration. Well, the policy can unlock investment, can improve access to resources, access to finance, and better land management. But this will happen only if we, at the same time, develop a strong, organized land administration system, and that we have implementation of projects that ensure that all landowners are able to go through this transformation without being vulnerable and without being exposed to the capture by speculators. So the Estate Council must lead the whole transformation process. The Estate Council cannot just sit in the discussion rooms. It's about assessing this situation, the challenge and the opportunities, and be able to figure out how to urgently enter into a solution mode. Well, the desirable situation for any estate council is that all Zimbabweans are able to register the land they are on as soon as possible. That's what the estate council should be focused on. So the question then is, what can the estate council do to provide that kind of leadership, to kind of assess the limitations to which the land tenure policy is being implemented? Government can only do so much. But how can we improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the implementation of this policy, make it much more fair and sustainable? So, yeah, the State Council really has to be aware of the risks of not taking action, or the risks of continuing with a ill-defined, if you may, a process, and and leave it just to government to drive this agenda, there are many risks. First of all, this rapid capture, what I'm calling the enclosure movement, but those who can actually take the land for fairly limited amounts of money for some are serious investors, but even then, because of the lack of a properly organized system, that can also lose value. There's lack of clear, consistent procedures, and public awareness is limited. So it becomes also a challenge in a proper design, implementation, uptake of this opportunity. Um, Young people and women, whatever you have, whatever they have, these marginalized groups face the risk of losing even what they have because when the powerful move in, it's the vulnerable that suffer the most. That's why the state council has to be concerned about the weak, the minorities, and so on who are vulnerable. What can we do to ensure that they're not taken advantage of and are able to register their land and make value from it? The environmental harm is another big risk. Some of it is because land, once it's acquired in a rush with poor land use planning, the land could be used for purposes which are not sustainable, monoculture, poorly regulated commercial developments, etc., etc. So that's a challenge. The other risk is just a fragmented land records, the weak institutional capacity to implement this really noble program. But all this undermines the confidence of the public in the policy. So my message to council is that there are huge opportunities if the process is managed well. It is important to secure land rights for millions of Zimbabweans to enable a long-term investment, to enable that, for instance, what appears to be expensive on the part of land today, you just have no idea that if you sell your piece of land today, whether it's in the communal area or it's A1 resettlement or A2, you sell your piece of land today. The moment you sell that piece of land and you try to buy it back a minute later, you won't be able to buy it back. The price is going up every minute of the day. So it's very important to see land as a long-term investment. What sounds expensive in terms of the mortgage or buying that land today is nothing, because once you commit to that mortgage, if you can, especially the offer by government that you can pay off this land in 20 years, don't even doubt, don't even feel like there is a problem here, because honestly, if you commit to picking up that land at $1,000 a hectare, there's absolutely no way in 5 years' time that piece of land is less than $2,000-3,000 a hectare, and in 20 years' time it will be $5,000-10,000 a hectare. Make no mistake. So if you are able to get that mortgage today, take it. It's a much smaller risk compared to the rapid increase, not only in the value of land in future, but even the time value of that money you're borrowing today. A mortgage, 20-year mortgage, even at 5%, 7%, I'll take it. It's the best investment that any Zimbabwean can make. Then take the urban areas. There's more than 3 million urban pieces of land that needs to be regularized. Just imagine an improvement in the uptake of title deeds in the A1 and A2 areas, and the increase in productivity of that land, and how it feeds into the urban areas, creating more jobs, factories popping up and manufacturing and adding value. That is what the urban areas need. There's a link between the rural and urban land. The more rural land is secured and is more effectively and efficiently utilized, producing raw materials for manufacturing at a lower cost, the more urban people's incomes rise and grow to a point where they become taxpayers. And just imagine the value of urban land, how quickly that urban land goes up. You as council will know that for both rural and urban land, title deed in itself is not what gives value to the land. It's an end result of ensuring that the proper services, the proper land administration services are now offered behind that title deed. The land rights are secured. You'll be able to protect those land rights. You'll be able to finance development or to increase productivity on that land, etc., etc. So it becomes important to realize that the opportunity is only realizable when the likes of the council and others assist government, partner with government in putting in place processes that accelerate this process and manage it better. Okay, so at the end of the day, no more land is going to be created. What you have today, don't give up. Develop it. If you don't have any rights, you have to pay for it, just pay for it. It's a bargain. So, what are some of the practical prioritized recommendations that I can make for the council? As I said earlier, the council need to join in the public leadership and awareness around the value of land, how to increase the value and be able to invest in getting secure land rights that are transferable. I think it's important to launch a nationwide public awareness campaign. People must just register their land now and to secure their future. Use whatever it takes, word of mouth, talk to the local chiefs, radio, municipal notice board, social media, mobile outreach. Just do whatever it takes, honestly, to get Zimbabweans to realize if they don't secure their land rights now, in a few years' time, that opportunity will just go to somewhere else because it will still be land, state land. If you get a mortgage, it's now your land, even if you haven't paid for it. All you're now doing is owing money on the piece of land. 5 years down the road, even if you fail to pay that piece of land, it will be double the original value. You won't lose everything. You still get a lot of money back. So it is important to educate people on the value of securing land rights, provide clear messaging in local languages about the benefits and costs and steps that people have to take in registering. There's need to build those support services. We need to find ways of accelerating and fast-tracking support services for rural people to register their land as well as urban people. Establish mobile registration clinics. It's not important just a one-stop shop in Harare. It's important to have legal aid desks in the rural areas or titling help desks in municipalities and district offices. Partner with the Surveyor General and the land management divisions of both Ministry of Lands and Agriculture as well as local government to ensure that partnerships across the board are crafted between survey firms, Surveyor General, universities, NGOs to fast track the low-cost mapping and surveying of this land, especially today with the use of GPS, drone, satellite imagery, and participatory mapping on the ground, etc., etc. So those are the support services needed, even for the vulnerable who may not have the cash or appear to have the capacity to register their mortgages. There should be ways to assist these people, the women and young people who may, as long as they have access to family land somewhere, they should be able to get support to register and protect their customary land rights, and be able to basically secure those rights and convert them to good use through increased investment into the productive capacity of that land. Yeah, so building that capacity it becomes important. We need transparent processes and anti-capture safeguards, which include things like public postings or proposed, title granting processes, over certain periods, helping government to establish independent oversight over these processes, maybe open and accessible online registration processes in the interim, and to be able to improve security and discourage secret deals, etc., etc. But capacity building, especially digital capacity, automation, and finance, investing in digitizing the land registry, in the operationability of this land information, cadastral maps, etc., etc. But probably a big service is the training of local leaders, traditional leaders, local women, councils, etc., in terms of offering these services. There would be other support mechanisms for sustainability and investment to ensure that we're promoting proper land use planning, proper zoning, and incentives for protecting the land, for adopting climate smart and sustainable agricultural practices. There's encourage ways of working together on broader land issues through cooperatives and similar land trusts, community tenure models for shared grazing and sacred sites and so on, but still making it possible to pool those into real bankable assets, making it possible to bring more investment into the community, bringing more skills, bringing technologies that are consistent with sustainable use of the environment. So that is what I'm really proposing, and thank you very much for the invitation, and I'll be quite happy to respond to any questions via email or whatever, and all the best with the conference. Thank you. Goodbye.